All right. Well, I am LeahWilsonFelis, and this is a beginner yoga class at Yoga Studio Satya in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So just keep in mind with beginner yoga that, we really have to learn how to listen to our body and the sensations that it's telling us, because the body does not speak in words, it speaks in sensations. So we have to learn about what our body is saying with the sensations that we have as we're moving. So as we begin, you can start seated however you want to. I'm sitting in what is called Sukhasana. It means easy pose or happy pose, but it's not necessarily happy or easy for everybody. So make sure to sit and change the way you're sitting. This practice is adaptable for each one of us. So make sure that as you're practicing, if something doesn't feel good, to change it. So I'm going to sit like this for a while, but as we're sitting, if your legs or your ankles get sore, feel free to stretch your legs around and move consistently. I'm doing mudra number 100 from this mudra book here, and it's the Prana Kriya Mudra. So what you do is you make the chin mudra, which is thumb to index finger, and then you slide your index finger down deep into the curve of the thumb, just as far as you can. That's it. So the Prana Kriya Mudra. Prana has to do with the energy of our body, and we bring it in with our breath. So as we breathe the prana, it starts to move throughout our body, and we can kind of direct that energy and direct that breath. Kriya means purification or detoxification. So we're using our breath to clear the way so that we can feel better. So as we sit up nice and tall, create this really nice tall spine. And let's just take a couple deep breaths to cultivate a conscious breath as we begin the practice. This breath will get easier. It will get longer, softer as we continue practicing. So just keep on breathing and slowing that breath down as we just start to settle into the practice today. Settle into our body and start to notice the body, notice what it's saying to you. It might be uncomfortable sitting like this, even for this amount of time. So make sure to change things if you need to. You can consistently move through this entire practice. That's one way of doing things. Let's keep breathing. Now, as we use our breath to clear the way, let's start to bring that breath a little bit deeper into the lower aspect of our lungs. So breathing in and really feeling the lower belly, the lower aspect of your lungs, really fill up. And as we exhale and push that breath out, really push at the bottom of that breath to get that excess air all the way out from those bottom lobes of the lungs. Breathing in, filling up completely and fully. And as you breathe out, you might have to squeeze at the bottom a little bit just to push that breath out a little extra. Beautiful long breaths. Remember, if your hands or your legs are feeling uncomfortable, change them. Now let's use our breath to clear the way for our intention. What is it that you need? Maybe in your practice, for your body, for your mind. What do you need for your life? Perhaps a relationship, relationships within your home, within your work. Something will come to mind that you need extra energy for, some aspect of your life. And now let's use this breath to infuse that energy, what it is that you need, into your body, into your breath, into your oxygen, which filtrates through your blood and moves through your entire body. Let's take 2 more of the deepest breaths you've taken all day, just focusing on that intention and those nice, deep, long breaths, getting the breath all the way into the lower lobes of the lungs. Release your hands when you're ready. Feel free to keep your eyes closed or open those eyes if you need. Follow along if you like, but more so listen to what it is that you need. Follow your own guidance, your own inner patterns. As you breathe in, reach out in front of you and just scoop out the air, lifting the hands up to the sky. And as you exhale, float the hands back down to the lap. We'll just do a couple of those matching our breath. So don't worry about how fast or slow I'm moving. Just close the eyes, inhaling to lift up, exhaling to float down. Stabilizing the body and the breath is key foundation for meditation, because as the body and the breath become harmonized, the mind naturally reflects the stability. Now, after this next breath, let's reach our arms out to the sides, inhaling and sweeping our arms out, maybe up just as far as your arms allow, and then floating back down with the exhale to ground those fingers, trying again. Remember to honor your body. So if you have a shoulder, something like a little catch or an injury in there, and that arm doesn't go up that high, then don't push past pain. Just finding our limits while we're here, finding those edges of what feels good. Last one. And let those hands just rest down by the floor. Let's work on elongating the neck while we're here. So as we elongate our neck, we want to reach the very top of our head up towards the sky. We want to tuck our chin in towards our throat just a little bit so that the very back of our neck is lengthening. Remind those shoulders to lower down, the fingertips can connect. Allow that length to travel down the spine between the shoulder blades, squeezing those shoulder blades back, lifting through the sternum. Feeling a lifting through your belly button and a dropping through the tailbone. Beautiful. Now let's work our neck a little bit. So if you need to stretch your legs out or come off of a seat or anything like that, you can. We'll start by just lubricating the neck. So we're just gonna drop our head to the right. Bring the chin to the chest. Bring your left ear over to the left shoulder. And then just keep on going back and forth. Chin to chest, over to the right. Chin to chest, to the left. Back and forth a couple more times. We're just bringing lubrication, synovial fluid into the neck bones. As you move, you might be feeling crunchies, you might be feeling where things are getting caught, or there's like a stiff spot. Let's stop when we bring our left ear to our left shoulder. And let's let it stretch. So a stretch is when we hold a move or hold a lengthened position for more than 3 or 4 breaths. So I'm here, I can feel a gentle stretch there on that right side of my neck, and I'm just letting it stretch. We're gonna do this more than once, so don't feel like we're gonna just do it once. We're gonna give our neck some repetitive stretching. Chin to chest when you're ready to switch sides, right ear to the right shoulder. Couple deep breaths to just let it stretch. Remind that left shoulder to stay low. 2 more deep breaths, just letting it stretch. And then we'll switch once again, chin to chest, left ear to the left shoulder. I'm going to teach you some variations here. So if you're not feeling a sufficient stretch, there's a couple things you can do. Beginner stretch, you can take your left hand, bring it to your right shoulder, and remind that shoulder to stay low. If that feels like it's not doing much for you and you want to add more, that left hand can come to your right ear and you can assist the head even further. But if you're like, well, that kind of hurts now, you have to go back to a spot where it's not pain, but maybe a little discomfort. Because we know now that discomfort is very different than pain. I'm going to release chin to chest whenever you're ready to switch sides. It doesn't need to be yet. If you're moving slowly or slower than I am, I'm bringing my right ear to my right shoulder. And I'm going to try some of those variations. I have my right hand to my left shoulder. A little bit more advanced would be right hand to the left ear, assisting the head further. Remember to take your deep breaths while you're here. We are going to do a third pass here, so feel free to go ahead and go back over to the left whenever you're ready to after about 2 or 3 deep breaths. I'll teach you a dynamic stretch this time. So as we lean our head to the left, you might use your left hand once again for those assists, but this time maybe bring your chin forward to your left collarbone, and you may feel a stretch go up the back right side of your neck. You can try different angles in there. There's just infinite angles that the head and neck can do. So feel free to just explore a little bit. I'm kind of like tilting my head to the left, but then lifting my nose up towards the ceiling. And it's a pretty like strange stretch. Not a normal movement I don't think I might do, but finding those limitations, finding those edges of sensation. When you're ready to switch sides, please do. Don't feel like you need to stay just because me or anyone else is still stretching on the other side. It's all about listening to your own body, holding these things as long as you would like, not necessarily as long as I'm telling you to. So with this, I'm drawing my chin to my right collarbone, kind of rotating my head back slightly, trying different angles with my head and neck. Remember that it can be delicate in here, so we don't want to strain anything either. So just know your limits. Know when enough is enough. When you have had enough, hands can return to the lap and we'll bring our chin to the chest, maybe lubricating the neck and head a couple extra times, rolling from left to right. Stop with chin to chest. Sweep the arms out, up. You can cup your hands or interlace your hands on the back of your head, just letting your elbows rest on either side of your face. Hanging out there for a second, neck traction. Feel free to roll in deeper to that pose by kind of rounding the upper back, rounding the mid back. Unwinding, unfurling whenever you're ready, opening your elbows, pushing your head back into your hands and kind of squeezing back there. Let's try that 2 more times. Exhaling, rounding, and inhaling to lift and open. Nice work. This time I'm just going to open my elbows up, pushing my head back into my hands and lean from side to side a couple times. And that starts to open up under the armpits and in those ribs, in the waist a little bit. Nice work. We'll get a little deeper with that next. Remember, if your legs in this crisscross position don't feel good, then make sure to stretch them out a little bit. Let's just roll those shoulders around, kind of bobble the head around, more lubrication in there. Awesome job. All right, so we're gonna move through those shoulders a little bit deeper here. So let's reach them out to the sides here. Lean out or slide out to the left. Keep that right sit bone connected and reach the right hand up. Maybe it continues over. We want to soften everything on the left side. So bend your left elbow, soften your left shoulder, lean your head to the left, but stay connected and energized on the right side. Remember, stretches should not hurt. They may be a little uncomfortable, but always adapting, backing off if you need to. And we'll switch sides whenever you're ready. So just take a big inhale, lift yourself back up. We'll slide out to the right. Left hand will reach up. Maybe it continues over. Softening everything on the right. Right elbow, right shoulder, staying connected on the left and feeling that energy reach through that left side body. Nice. We will do it again on each side. Our body loves that repetition. It makes these movements more normal the more frequently that we practice them. So right sit bone still connected. I'm leaning my head to the left even as I soften my whole left side. Left elbow, left shoulder, head leans to the left. Might look down, might look up. You can get the whole body involved, inhaling to open and look up to the ceiling. Exhaling to round the spine and look down, opening up through the ribs. Great job. When you're ready to come on up and reach up for the sky, pull yourself back up, switch your legs if you need to. Pay attention to how everything is feeling. Let's do it one more time over here to the right. We'll lean our head to the right. Softening everything on the right, stretching everything on the left. Looking down, maybe rounding the spine here. Looking up, inhale, opening the chest. Only if that feels good. Remember, everything I show is just an option, just something to try for your body and see if it feels good. Whenever you're ready, just reach up for the sky and pull yourself back to center. Great job. Let's get some leg work going on here. So let's extend these legs out in front, maybe flex and point the toes as you extend them out. Roll your ankles out a couple times. Get those knees and hips kind of lubricated. If you were sitting cross-legged with me that entire time, might be a little stiff. We'll separate our feet a little wider so that our big toes are in alignment with our hips. That's hip distance apart. Big inhale up to the sky. And then we just start to tip over, folding forward, reaching for your knees or your shins or your ankles. Maybe you are at your toes. Straps come in handy here. I don't have one, but you can always wrap the strap around the bottom of your feet if you do have one handy. Now the goal here is to feel a stretch behind the knees and in the hamstrings. It might be in your back if that's where you're holding tension. Sometimes if I tuck my chin to my chest here, I feel it between my shoulder blades. And it's like, well, that's where I'm holding tension. Remember to try to breathe. Big belly breaths here. So you might even be moving with that breath. Roll up whenever you need to. I'm trying to stay here for about 5 breaths. Nice assessment. You can kind of see how things are feeling today. We'll move along and then come back and see how it's changed. So let's again just roll those toes in and out, window wipers. Let's make that a little bit bigger coming from the hips. So support yourself on your hands, slide your feet up towards your body and both knees to one side and then to the other. And that hip might lift up off the ground as both knees rock to the opposite side. It's just different to do some internal rotation. We spend a lot of time with our knees out in yoga, so it'll be good to change it up a little bit. All right, so let's kind of extend our right leg out, cross our left leg over top like a newspaper pose, is what I call that. And then we'll slide our right foot back up towards our body. I'm going to turn to the side here so you can see my spine. I don't want to be like, meh, slumpy. I want to be really tall. And as I sit up really tall, woo, I feel it really big through that side of my hip. You can also rock the leg from side to side. Now this is a beginner stretch, okay? So you might be like, I don't feel anything. Or you might be like, I feel a lot. So you have to choose for yourself, because, just because it's a beginner class doesn't mean that everyone's a beginner. So I'm going to show you another way to do this. Extend the right leg. I call this leg baby pigeon. So we're going to scoop up our left leg, kind of like you're scooping up a baby, and bring it up towards your chest. Oh yeah, you'll feel it then. If you didn't feel it in the beginner version, then you'll feel it this way for sure. The taller that you sit up, the better. Nice job. Now there are many versions of how to do this. This is just seated. There's reclined, laying down versions as well. We'll do that near the end of class. Nice. Let's start to change that stretch yet again. So we're going to kind of let our left foot come down to our right hip and give the knee a hug. It's a little different this time. Yeah, maybe better, maybe worse, depending on what you think about sensation. Because for me, it's like, well, it's more intense, but I like it. Yes, so we can add our twist from here, starting to rotate to the left. So you want to kind of hold on with your right arm and bring your left hand to the mat behind you. When I'm there, I always like to add head and neck tilts. Just feels good. I'm always trying to get my neck involved in like every position here. Once again, I always start at beginner and then I go to the next step. So I'm going to just show you how to advance this a little bit. So I kind of just prop my left foot down on the floor so it kind of stays there. And then I'm going to hook my right elbow to the outside of my left thigh. It could be that it's more like your wrist rather than your elbow. And then I give myself a little nudge to really press into that twist, only if it feels good. Deep breath while you're there. Nice job. Go ahead and unwind, kind of twist the opposite direction just for a moment. Give your spine that nice, healthy blood flow, synovial fluid flow. And then we'll rotate back ahead and we'll just take this left foot to the inside of your right foot for a Janu Sirsasana, which is head to knee pose. So we want to rotate our right knee up towards the ceiling. Big inhale up to the sky. And then we'll exhale and reach for your right knee or your right shin or your ankle or your foot, wherever you are, bowing your head into that pose, stretching that right hamstring pretty deeply. So backing off if the intensity is just too much. We don't want it to be painful. So know the difference between pain and discomfort. Know when your body says that's enough, or you can go a little further. Relax the shoulders, relax your face. Great job, everyone. Roll it up when you're ready to. We'll finish up with the inner thigh here. So 2 options here. You can keep your right leg right where it is and separate your left foot and adjust your hips. Or from here, you can take that right leg and slide it out. Same, but different. Either way, you're going to feel a stretch in that right inner thigh. Sit up tall. Oh, you'll feel it then. And if you still don't feel it and you want to, then you can just lean your belly towards your left foot. Try not to let your sit bones lift off the ground. I know the tendency is to want to let that right sit bone lift up off the floor. We can go a little bit further when we do that, but let's try to connect it down to the floor. Both sit bones connected. Deep breaths. Remember that breath we began with, the Prana Kriya breath. Using that breath as that powerful tool to move energy through your body and into your life. I'm going to start to walk my hands over to that right leg. I can start to feel a stretch in my left waist as I do that. You might feel it differently than me, so I'm just kind of letting you know what I feel, just in case we're similar. the left hand, I'm gonna reach it up towards my right big toe. And then I'm gonna fan that arm up over my head so that the left hand is fanning over to reach the right toe, relaxing the right shoulder. Leaning my head to the right slightly. Nice deep breath, maybe 1 or 2 breaths while we're here, focusing. And whenever you're ready, bring it back up. Nice job. So we've got left leg here. Let's cross the right leg in front. The real test of a yoga teacher is like, can I remember what I'm doing for the other side? So I'm going to take my my left hand to my right outer thigh. Right hand will reach out to the windows, out to the right here, up to the ceiling maybe as we lean over towards the left. Oh yeah, you can feel a really good stretch like through your left scapula is where I feel it, but also right waist, right ribs. Big breath to relax and soften while we're here. I like to look down to the right, look up, or I'm sorry, down to the left, up to the right. Nice job. Pull yourself up when you're ready to. Cross that right arm over top for a fan favorite eagle arms. So the right arm is over top. Beginners, give yourself a hug. You're like, I'm not a beginner. Then you can lift your hands up like so. This is step 2. Step 3 is like really squeezing the backs of the wrists together, or even getting a wind around with your hands or wrists. Wherever you happen to be, lift your elbows out away from your chest and then relax. And as you let those arms kind of relax downward, you should feel a stretch or a length happening on the top of the right scapula. That's where I feel it, but you might be like, my chest is cramping. And if that's the case, then it's time to release the pose. So whenever your body says, I think that's good for now, then unwind. Hands will come back behind and we'll squeeze those shoulders back. You're welcome to extend your legs out here as well as we start fresh for the next side. I don't want to do a forward fold quite yet because we will be super wonky and like not balanced on each side. So let's do all the stretches on the other side and then we'll test it out with a forward fold. Okay, so let's see here. We are going to have our left leg straight and our right leg is going to cross over top for a figure 4, like newspaper pose. I'm going to support myself on my hands and slide my left foot back so that it's drawing closer to my body. Sit up really tall, like really lift up through your chest and your heart. And that's where you should start to feel a stretch in the right hip. And if you're like, I just don't feel a stretch, or if you do, stay here. But if you don't, you can always try that second variation. A little bit of a rock through the left foot. Feels pretty good too. Nice work. Let's try the second variation also. However, if you know you like this variation better, stay here. I'm just going to slide my left leg out, scoop up my right leg, and pull it up towards my chest. That leg baby pigeon. A little bit of a rock through that leg. Oh, as I go towards the left with my foot, I really feel that stretch deep in that deep 6 rotator area. The deep 6 rotators are these deep muscles underneath the glutes that sit on top of the sciatic nerve. So they're the ones that clamp down on it when they get really tight. So we're stretching them out so that hopefully that won't happen. Nice work. Let's try third variation. Let your right foot drop down by your left hip and just hug your knee up towards your chest. Sitting up as tall as you can is really the trick. Nice, clear the way with your breath. If you're ready and you would like, you can add a twist by swinging that right hand to the outside of the right side of your mat, right side of your body. And if you want to take it to that next level, you can always hook that left arm to the outside of your right thigh and give it a little nudge for a little extra twist. Great job. Yawns are good. Rest and digest. We'll start to twist the other way just shortly here while we lubricate the spine. Awesome work. Next up is a figure 4. So we bring our right foot to the inside of our left leg, rotate that left toe up towards the ceiling. Big inhale with the arms and the upper body up to the sky as we fold over top the straight left leg. Bowing your head down towards your knee, relaxing through the shoulders. Nice work. For me, this side feels tighter than the other side did. But, you know, we're all a little imbalanced in some areas of our lives and bodies. Awesome job, everyone. Roll up whenever you're ready to. Give it more time if it needs more time. We have options here for our practice. We'll move to the inner thigh next. So we'll just take that left leg and either slide it out or adjust so that the right foot separates from the left thigh. Sit up nice and tall, both sit bones connected, because I know for me, I want to lift that left sit bone really bad. And I'm like, nope, stay grounded. And then we'll just lean forward a little bit. It doesn't take much for me to feel a really big stretch in that inner thigh. And you can move while you're here. You can rock your upper body from right to left if you like. Add a little bit of a distraction into the move, or just static, just holding that stretch works too. Remember, just clearing the way with our breath. The prana of our body, the prana around us has a lot of power, so we can use it to kind of clear any blockages, soothe areas. Start to walk your hands towards the left leg. I go towards the left shin and ankle. And then I'm just going to pick up that right hand and reach it towards the left big toe to begin. And then eventually open up that chest, relax the left side, stretch on the right side. Couple breaths to, kind of find that pose. Perfect that pose. Sit in it, lean into those areas that need a good stretch, and release whenever your body says that's enough. I just reach my right hand up to the sky and pull myself back up, but there's lots of different ways out of that pose. So we'll take our left leg and cross it in front, crisscross. Might not be your happy side, but we're going to try it. Right hand to the left thigh. Left hand is going to reach out towards the mirror, up towards the ceiling, and we'll start to lean over towards the right. So it's like you're hanging on to your left thigh as you're leaning to the right. And I get this nice right shoulder length going on in that shoulder, that trapezius and shoulder blade. I also have the left ribs and waist stretching pretty big there too. Pull yourself up and cross that left arm over top. Nice. Step 1 is a hug. Step 2 is bringing your hands, the backs of your wrists and hands together. So again, step 1 is a good place to stop. Don't feel like you need to go to step 2 or step 3. Wherever you are, we're going to lift our elbows so that there's energy there. Relax the shoulders. And I like to lean my head. That's just kind of like a little habit that I have of leaning my head from side to side. Because I make every move into a neck move. When you're ready, of course, up to you when. Release. Release those arms back. Kick those legs out. We did it. I remembered. Squeeze those shoulders back. Really open up your heart there. We spend most of our life in flexion, like working at computers or on bodies, on faces. Working on hair, computers, driving. So we have to kind of do the opposite sometimes and really open that chest up. Flex and point your toes a couple times. Sweep those hands out and up, sitting up tall for Dandasana. That means staff position. And then the staff starts to fall and we reach for our toes or our ankles, shins or knees, wherever you land is fine. Compare this to, a couple minutes ago before we did all those leg and hip stretches and just see if it's feeling less intense. Not maybe necessarily easier, but maybe less sensation or negative sensation. Chin to chest. And then roll yourself back up. All right. We have not done our Baddha Konasana, so let's do some Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees apart, butterfly legs. We'll just see how that's feeling. Rather than stretching like this line that goes from the knee to the hip, it's more like working into groin. So just seeing how that feels. Got to scooch back so my feet aren't bony on the floor. I think that's really the purpose of the mat, is so that it's a little cushion and it sticks you to the floor. Because in India, where yoga was made, it's always 100 degrees. Unless you're up in Nepal. Always hot yoga in India. You don't heat the room. It's always hot. And if you don't have a mat, you're going to slide on the floor with your sweaty hands. So, but I also believe that it's a personal space marker. So my thing was always like, don't step on someone else's mat. I used to have a yoga dog and he would come to yoga and it was like, don't step on people's mats. And then he would lay on people's mats. My mat.
Dogs don't have to.
No. So I'm just leaning forward into my Baddha Konasana here, rounding my back. You can straighten your back. Again, there's a lot of variations. There's movement available if you want to kind of swing your torso from side to side. Or a cat and a cow feels kind of good. That's where we're going to head next, is cat and cow. So if Baddha Konasana is really not your fave, then you can by all means start moving along in your practice. We're going to be going to a tabletop cat and cow next. I'm just going to come back to center, roll my torso back up and pull the knees together as I roll up to just relieve the inner thighs, groin area. All right, grab some water if you have some, and we'll transition to hands and knees. So I'm just going to swing my legs around to one side, kind of hoist myself up. I'm going to try out my fancy new little knee pads here, but a blanket works just fine. Gardening supplies are on sale. So gardening mats work really great, $4 or $5 for a gardening mat. So fingers spread here for this tabletop, if that's available for your hands. And if it's not, then modify in whichever way you need to make it so that that's comfortable for your hands and wrists. And if it's not comfortable, it might just be that they're a little weak and they need to gain some strength. And that's why we're here. So let's just add some cat and cow. When the belly drops towards the floor and we look up and push through the hands, that's called cow. Keep pushing through the hands, rounding the spine, dropping the tailbone for cat. Back and forth. Now, most people will feel this in their belly and their back. You may feel it other places too, wrists, shoulders, neck. If your neck is really tight as you look down and up, that might be really great lubrication for the neck bones. Awesome job. Now we'll try the easier of the two resting poses first, and that's puppy pose. So from tabletop, we'll walk our hands forward, one giant handprint, drop your forehead to the block or to the floor, keeping your hips lifted. If you need to widen up your knees there or make some space for your body, feel free to adjust. Now I know this can be a lot on the shoulders as the arms are extended up over your head. So if it hurts your shoulders, hurts your elbows, slide your elbows out so that they're like extensions out from your ears. Nice deep breath. We'll give child's pose a quick try here. So that means that from puppy pose, we're just going to try to drop our hips closer down towards our heels. And not everyone has this amount of flexion in the knees, so we just go as far as we can, resting the kind of like thighs on a block or on a blanket or pillow that's built up between the thighs and the calf is a trick for that one. Whichever one feels the best to you is a good place to be. And not everyone likes these postures at all. So we can always come up with our own resting pose if need be. Big breath, feel your belly press into your thighs and then let go, exhaling. Inhale to roll yourself back up to your tabletop. Nice job. We're going to work through the thighs. We spend so much time stretching the hamstring that we're going to do a little bit of quad. So the right leg will extend it out back behind us. Big inhale, and as you exhale, bring your knee through and underneath. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to round. This is called active cat. 2 more. Nice and controlled. We don't want to be flinging our leg up or anything like that. We just want it to be gliding, moving through the air. Now I lied. We're going to do a 5th one. So we're going to kick that leg up and then try to step that right foot forward. It's not always pretty. You can use your right hand to get there. We just get there however we can get there. Step 1 is hands on the floor. And I'm going to try to roll over the top of my left knee so that my left hip is reaching further to the floor. You can bring your right hand to the inside of your right leg and even walk your right foot out if you want a little extra. That's called a lizard lunge. And if that's hurting your left knee, I would highly suggest keeping a blanket under that knee if need be. Nice job. We'll work our way up through the levels. Send your hips back. I'll realign my right foot, bringing my right hand to the top of the right knee and lifting up into my low lunge. Really nice alignment here, making sure you can see your right big toe. That means that your knee isn't flopping inward. It's nice and straight. Hands to the heart is the second option, or hands up overhead. That's no longer beginner, my friends. But that's okay. You don't need to stick to the beginner motif. Big inhale right here. Exhale, lunging a little deeper over top that left knee for a little extra. Inhale, sending your weight back, like pushing into your right foot, and then exhale, lunging a little deeper. We'll do that 1 more time. Float the hands down, framing that right foot. Left hand into a block or into the floor. It all depends on like how far that floor feels for you. So into the block is fine. Reach the right hand out towards these windows over here and up towards the ceiling. Nice. So it's like your chest is reaching out towards that right knee. No need to suffer, right? Great job. Release down whenever you need to here. Great job. I'm going to add 1 more challenge pose in here, okay? I'm going to try it. I'm going to hold myself up on my left hand once again. I'm lunging really deeply forward, and I'm going to try to bend my left knee into the floor. Woo, quad. Yes, that quad is a big stretch. So if you're like, I want to do something fancy, you could reach your right hand back instead of up and try to tickle your heel. Tickle, tickle. Nice job. One day, right? We're working on it. That's why we got to do it in steps. Go ahead and release everything. Bring that right hand down to the inside of that right leg, and you can swing that right leg around. Oh my gosh, good job. Hey, the mat's there for you. He'll catch ya. It's child's pose or puppy pose, whatever you like, whichever variation is your favorite. I can really feel this like warmth, we call it tapas, in the top of the left thigh, where we really stretch that quad. And in the right glute, where that muscle was really building strength, holding me up on that right foot. Let's do those lunges on the other side so that we can maintain balance. So we'll pull ourselves up to our tabletop. This is the left side, so realign the knees. We'll kick our left leg out back behind, big inhale, and then exhale, round the spine, bring the knee through. We'll do 4 more like that. Inhale to lift, exhale to round. Nice and controlled movements, not flinging the legs around, nice and supported on the hands. Here's my last one. And then I'm going to do that 5th one so that I kick my leg out to get momentum to pull my left leg underneath into that low lunge. Let's start with the lizard lunge. Both hands to the inside of the left foot. I'm going to roll over the top of my right knee so that it almost is like lengthening on the mat. I feel big time stretch there on that right thigh. Nice job. Can hang there as long as you feel like you need it, but when you're ready to move on to step 2 and 3, we can do that. That is rolling ourselves back up to our nice square lunge. Hands come up on top of that left thigh. Bringing the spine upright, activating the core, making sure we can see our left big toe. Big breath, and if you'd like to go further, you can lunge a little deeper. You're also welcome to try hands at the heart or hands up over your head. No longer beginner, just a little bit more challenging there. But as we lift our hands from the thigh, we're also using our core more, which is going to, build that core strength. Nice work, everyone. Let's add the rotation. Hands come down. Our right hand comes to the mat or to a block. And then our left hand is going to reach out past the left knee and up towards the sky. So it's like our chest is reaching out towards our bent left knee. Looks good. Nice work. Let's try our quad stretch, bringing that left hand down. I'm going to kind of walk my hands forward to the top of my mat, kind of like I began in my lizard pose. And I'm going to try to bend my back right knee. Oh, quad. And it's okay if you're like, this side says no. This side is very different. Maybe it's tighter because it's the right quad. Great job. We're going to move on to our child's pose next. So come on back, walk your hands back, and then as beautifully as you can swing that leg around. Bye, Isabel. So we're coming to a child's pose or a puppy pose, just kind of resting after all that deep hip and thigh work. Find the breath. Nice deep breaths. It's probably my favorite part about child's pose is breathing while I'm here and feeling my belly push into my thighs and feeling the ribs on my back expand. Great job. Let's move into our first downward dog. Go ahead and come to tabletop, tuck your toes under, push into your hands and roll up into your downward dog. And let's spend some time here really kind of pressing down through the heels, pedaling out those heels, shifting the hips from side to side, gaining that strength in your hands. Great job. We'll do one sun salutation. Look towards your hands and start to walk forward towards them. When you get to a forward fold, bend your knees. That's going to protect your spine. Keep your knees bent. Sweep your arms out in any direction and start to unhinge at your hips, unhinge at your spine, rolling all the way up to standing. Our hands will reach up overhead and we'll exhale down to our heart center to reconvene with our intention. Remember at the beginning, what is it that you need for your practice, for your life, for your body? Use your breath to clear the way. All right, so we'll do one sun salutation. Feel free to flow at your own pace. I'll just be guiding at a traditional hatha pace. Inhaling here at the heart. Exhaling, hands down to the sides of your body. Nice long breaths. Inhale, sweep up to the sky, clear the way. Bend through your knees, hips back, heart forward. It's a swan dive. Inhale, lift halfway, hands to the shins, hips reach back, heart forward, head reaches to the front of the room. Don't forget to keep breathing. Nice job. One last breath, kind of like you're going to suck it in, and then exhale, bending the knees, belly on the thighs, forward fold. Choose a foot, step that foot back first. Plant your palms, step the other foot back, downward dog. Here's the difficult part. We call this the vinyasa aspect, inhaling and rolling forward to your plank position. You can drop to your knees to chaturanga, belly lands on the floor, elbows need to try to bend back. Heart lift of your choice, it'll be like a sphinx, maybe a cobra, maybe you're at up dog. Bending those elbows and rolling back down to crocodile. Find your way back to your last downward dog. I come to tabletop first and then roll up, pushing through my hands, the whole palm, stepping the feet forward. I still want my feet hip distance apart, and then I'll just pedal out a couple times for those calf muscles. Nice job. Relax down to hands and knees. Let's find our way onto our back, my friends. I'll meet you there. Good job. Even beginner yoga is not easy. It gets easier as we practice more though, so I am very proud of you for being here today. All right. I've got a couple minutes to just lay down and feel all the work that you have done in this last hour. Lay however you're most comfortable. Using bolster or pillows under the knees is a great treat. Clear the way with your breath. This is a guided visualization that my very first yoga teacher taught me. Imagine that your body is surrounded by an aura, whatever color that you like. Glowing around your entire body. You will hear 3 sounds of a chime. As the sound begins, breathe in and pull that aura, that energy into your body, through your pores, through your heart, through your breath. As the sound reverberates off of itself, exhale and allow any stale energy, old oxygen, negativities to float out of your body, out of your pores, out of the bottoms of your feet, almost like smoke leaving your body. I'll lead you through the first sound. Inhale. Exhale and push it out. Know that this energy, this aura is always around your body. You can use it, that prana, that breath, to break away blockages and make the way. Anytime, even when you're not on the yoga mat. Remember that you always have choices here and off the mat. If you need more time to lay, please do that. If you're ready to start shifting and moving into your day, flex and point your toes a couple times, spread your fingers, make fists, roll out your wrists a couple times. Maybe add a good morning stretch, stretching your arms out or up over your head, zipping your legs together and stretching the whole body once again. You can roll to a side, you can lay on the floor, or you can come up to a seat. Doesn't matter to me, the choice is yours. My hope is that whatever your wish may be, you have the abundance to create the path to make that happen for you and your body and your life. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide the practice today, but ultimately, thank you for listening to your own body, listening to what it is that you need. Thank you for being here today. I bow to you. Namaste. In Shukriya. Thank you, thank you. Great job, everyone. I hope you feel better. Good. Moving is good. Moving our body is good. Great work today. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you, thank you. Thank you at home too.
Thank you, Leah.